Well, hey there, folks. Chuck here, and welcome to another special live edition of Diecast Breakdown.
Another.
Live from the floor here at the fabulous Ahern Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada.
It's a nice hotel. I like it a lot.
And they've gathered a bunch of people together for something called a Diecast SuperCon. I'm told it's the new happening thing the young people are into, and
not just young people, Chuck.
No.
There's
ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, children.
like myself.
I just came from the Hot Wheels event. They were just showing some of the new Elite 64s. The Elite asking some really cool questions. It's, again, a great opportunity for collectors of all ages to really kind of meet with the people that are making the cars that we know and love. And we're going to be having one of those brands joining us shortly with IXO America. But before we do that, I want to introduce my co-hosts. This is Mr. David Johns of TWYCE Diecast. Say hey, David.
Hello, Chuck. Oh, sorry. You said hey.
Hey.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey is for horses, David.
No, you said to say hey.
Hey,
David.
hey.
Hey, David.
Say hey. All right. And my fellow co-host, I'm Mark Berenson of DrivenDreams.org.
How's it going, everybody? I'm doing fabulous.
We've been this is day 3 for us, day 2 of the show. We got a little early sneak peek. You can check that out on our early videos from the last couple days. We were actually got to be live from the main stage last night and talk a bit about Mark's project, DrivenDreams.org. So go check that out. It's a really cool project where we're racing cars around the world, and you don't even have to lick a stamp or sign a check or anything. You can just be a part of it, and it's really straightforward. Check it out, drivendreams.org. You can find a link to that as well at diecastbreakdown.com, where you can figure out how to follow us on social, check out our merch. We've got a Patreon link there if you want to support the show, or you can hit the little join button down below on the little YouTube link. A special shout out to our executive producer level patrons. I don't have that list in front of me still. You'd think I'd have figured that out by now. Maybe I'll do that on the next one.
We don't expect you to memorize it, Chuck. It's a little too much information for
I
one
just know
thing.
that Elevation Racing is our latest patron, and we're really grateful to have him on board. Really cool creator and really great supporter of the channel. But yeah, we're chatting with a bunch of really cool people. We just had, guys, let's talk a bit about what happened after our live last night. Where was it that we ended up again?
Cartooned.
We did the cartooned JDM launch, and that, needless to say, was well received, gentlemen.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
There was when you played the video of like what's coming out, there was gasps of delight.
That's not.
And that was just
not
from Mark.
Horror, that was just me. I was giggling like a schoolgirl.
Yeah.
Like I do.
Yeah.
I've never seen a Datsun man so excited about Toyotas.
I was
He got misty.
I was like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
He was like, "Is that a Supra?"
Yeah, there was 2 Supras.
2 Supras.
All right.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, not what was our favorite, but talk about Lewis leveling up. It's something to cause a commotion in our hobby with all Chevys.
Uh-huh.
Then you give the JDM collectors.
Yeah, no, it was exciting. For me, like the car that I probably like best is like the 80s Supra, the MK2 Supra. There's the new Supra, Mark IV Supra, but I never thought somebody would really like put that much into like a Mark II Supra. Those are some of my favorite ones. So, and it just looks. Some of these cars just look so nice squished.
And we do have pics. We have shorts. Yep. We have lots of stuff all over the internet.
Yeah, so check it out on Diecast Media Network. You'll see stuff in our short section, stuff in our live section. We live streamed the whole announcement last night. I was very excited about the 76 Celica that he's got coming out. That's a really cool one. That's one I've always really liked.
That was my second favorite, probably.
Yeah.
And the wheels on those things are just there's nothing like them. There's not wheels that are as cool as that.
No, not in the mass-produced world for sure. I mean, it's
the price point of these cars,
and the packaging just absolutely incredible. So again, just doing cool things, and another brand that's doing cool things that we'll be talking to in a few minutes, IXO America. We're going to have them on.
They're party tonight too. They've got a big.
They've got their big party.
Yeah, IXO's got their party tonight. Jeff might get a little crazy, so
So catch him today while you can.
We're trying to get him before
may
the
not
party.
be upright tomorrow.
So that it's, we can understand what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got to say, talking about gasps, the IXO America presentation yesterday had some really cool pulls. They're getting some really neat, underserved American cars. They're due. That was not us.
Yep, we're out on that.
And so we're really excited that we're going to be having some return guests from IXO America on in a little bit. We got Jeff from IXO America coming on in a few minutes, and that's going to be really cool. But guys, what was your kind of take on the initial presentation from IXO?
I mean, they're incredibly clean. Everything's super clean. When it comes down to the car itself, we're looking right out at their booth over there. It's all set up really nicely, and for Chuck here, he likes the trucks, and I think you bought one of the semi trucks there.
Yeah,
semi trucks if you're Canadian.
Hang on,
Yes.
before Chuck fanboys about the trucks.
Yeah,
I
go
want to
ahead.
say that I like that Clint has designed them, and we're going to hear from Clint a little bit here in a minute, so that they can accommodate all the variations, all different years. The castings are going to be very adaptable to the variations of the vehicles and kind of evolve. You're going to have lifted, slammed, stock. It's really smart the way they're doing it.
Changing things up a bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. They're going to be very, very desirable for collectors and customizers alike, I think. So, if Jeff's ready, are you ready to come and chat? Let's
All right,
go.
Yeah. We've said as much as we can muster.
Yeah, let's have an actual expert on to tell us what's really going on over here.
So joining us now, folks, we got Jeff. The experience so far. Chuck, what do you want to?
Yeah, Jeff. You've been to one of these before. Tell us about your experience when you first went to one of these, and what has changed for you for this one, because I'm sure there's been a big change between the first one and now.
Yeah, I actually got involved in the industry in January of '09.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, 2 weeks into my employment, they said, you're hopping on a plane and going to Vegas to this thing called the Diecast Super Convention. I'm so wet behind the ears and green in the industry. I came from the automotive industry, so I knew cars, but I didn't know the specifics about the collectability and the whole culture, right?
Sure.
It was a big learning experience. It was over at the Circus, and we had nothing like this. I met CJ for the first time while I was out there. He was very welcoming. Hey man, you got any questions? Just ask us. Everyone was so friendly. And people that I see here today, I've met at that very first Diecast convention. So it's really cool. These people continue to come back year after year. If you would have asked me in '09 that this thing would have turned into what it is now, I probably would have just laughed. But they've done an incredible job at maintaining relationships and getting the vendors involved in a really big way. And it's just really cool to have something like this for our industry and the collector base. It's a great gathering place.
Oh, absolutely. And for those who may go, wait a second, IXO already existed, so what's IXO America? Let's talk about the difference between the two brands and what IXO America is bringing to the IXO mark as in general.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So IXO model cars have been around for quite some time. They really specialize in the 143rd category. They really have the European market, the Asian market, South American market pretty down pat. Our job is to bring new 164 scale castings to the American market because they were asking, hey, we've always wanted to break into the U.S. market. We just don't know how to do it. And we all know 143rd is great, but it's not the dominant scale in the U.S., right?
Sure.
There's a lot of 118, 124, but 164 is really caught on tremendously, I'd say, over the last decade, for me at least. So they've tasked us with creating brand new castings and bringing the IXO brand to the United States, but we wanted to put a little bit of an American, spin on it. So the IXO America is a little bit different, focusing on American car culture, traditional muscle cars, trucks, things like that. And so we really have the opportunity to step outside the box and hopefully make a lot of cool castings that have never been offered in the past.
Jeff, we've talked before on Diecast Breakdown, and we know the answer to this, but I want the fans to hear what was important to you, what kind of feedback were you trying to get here at the show, and I want you to lay out like what you did to make sure you get that feedback, because not everybody's doing that, and I wish they did. Tell us about your plan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we're very open over at our booth. We have a list going, and we want to talk to the collector. We want to understand the mentality. If a store owner hears the same thing 3, 4, 5 times from a collector, hey, why don't you have this? Why don't you have that? They're probably on to something, I think Johnny said it best. Johnny Jimenez is here. He said it best since he owns Toy Shack. He says if somebody, we asked him, how do you know what's hot? How do you know what is on trend, right? He basically said, I ask all my employees to tell me what people are asking for. And once you understand that, that might be the next thing that takes off. And so we're over here gathering information, and a lot of people are saying the same things. Hey, another company made this a long time ago. We haven't seen it in like 20 years. We don't know if the tool still exists. You guys should think about making it. Yeah, our team will come back, and from this trip, we've got the entire list. We've got 2.5 more days of this. And, swing by the booth and let us know your opinions. You're not going to be told no off the bat. We're going to, hey, that's a great idea. Take it down. Will all of them be made? It's not financially feasible.
Sure.
But you hear the same ones over and over, and you're like, okay, I remember talking to this guy about that. We're also asking them about, what do you guys want to see in chase variants? Mm-hmm. And it's shocking. I was just having a conversation with 2 guys earlier today. They own a shop, and they're like, have you ever thought about doing it this way? No, but that's great. That's something our factory can get behind. So it's really great to be able to have those conversations one-on-one. And it's awesome to talk to you guys here in person, because you guys were just faces on a computer screen a couple weeks ago. Right?
Yeah, we have legs.
Yeah, you guys have legs, So,
yeah.
No, it's awesome, because I feel like this type of relationship can foster into something really, really cool and feasible down the road.
We might get that 93 Saturn after all, David.
I'm not.
How many requests have you had for Saturns or PT Cruisers, Jeff? One?
About as
From
many.
you.
About as many as they've had for Plymouth
Don't you ever
Valiants.
say that, Jeff.
No, I haven't had any, unfortunately.
Yeah, just David here.
I did used to drive a Saturn, though. So
Yeah, well,
That's right, Mark.
Saturn
You did.
boy. Jeff, what's the main thing that comes to your guys' your mind and Clint and everything? What sets you apart from different diecast companies? Like, what is your mindset that sets you apart? Like in your own, not from us, but like in your own mind. What would that be?
yeah, so I know you guys saw our on-stage presentation yesterday, and we released a bunch of 3D renderings and flat artwork and things like that. And I think the one thing that we are going to do well is make the tool as robust as we possibly can. Clint's a great designer. He knows cars like the back of his hand. You see the different versions that we're making, the lifted, the slammed, the dually, the flare side, things like this. And as opposed to just making one casting that makes one car, we're trying to make it as robust as possible. And you saw how many different wheel options we're making, right?
Sure.
So I was actually really impressed. And speaking on wheels, I was really impressed when we went on this VIP tour on Wednesday night, and we stopped by House of Cars Vegas. The guy had an entire front display case full of just wheels and axles. And
Yeah, and he had the really nice ones too. The ones that are like $15-$20 a set.
Yeah, very
The
very
nice wheels.
Very nice wheels.
The ones that are too nice.
Gold plated.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like
I mean,
wire wheels, very intricate, delicate things. Yeah.
so
that's really
I think if we can hit that culture, because I think wheel culture is kind of a thing in
Oh,
its own,
sure.
you know?
Wheels make the car, like
Absolutely.
everybody says.
Yeah, I mean, you go to SEMA, there's a whole hall dedicated to wheels, and it's insane. So, I mean, hitting all that stuff and trying to give the collector options.
Sure. Well, and too, like a lot of us who are used to collecting the more, lower mid-tier premium stuff, the $2 to $5, $7 price range, like we're used to seeing people cheap out on the wheels or wheel quality
Yeah.
control not being there or the wheel options being very basic, and even the more popular brands, not to name any specific names, we all know who I'm talking about, have kind of a very specific set of premium wheels that they go with. And they're fine, they're great, but they're not set apart. Like the wheels that you're showing us are very specific. These are what you would have on a Chevy Silverado or on a Dart Sport or on a bullnose Ford, which I'm getting a little ahead of myself on. But I appreciated that. I loved seeing you guys gathered around those things at the wheel display, looking at that, because I agree with Mark. Wheels make the car, and that's a little detail that I think goes a long way. Now, I'm curious. I don't think we've really had a chance to talk about this much, but what are we expecting to see the price point be for the new IXO cars that are coming out?
So for the 164th models, we're talking around a $10 to $12 MSRP
Wow.
for that.
That's very reasonable.
No, that's
Yeah.
Trying to
that's
give it
incredible. That's a lot of quality for that price.
Yeah.
Do you have any $1,000 cars that I can buy?
Mr. High Roller.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
he
can
can find
talk.
some. He can find a couple over
It's
there.
like, this one's
Yeah.
$1,000, Mark. It doesn't look like $1,000. No, this is $1,000. This
Yeah,
is rare.
see, you see who's looking at you right now from our
Yeah.
booth is
Not
Yeah.
a lot of them.
And
but
you all have a. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Mark.
no, I'm done.
I was just gonna say, and it's not just the IXO line itself. You guys have done a little bit with Neverland too. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, really cool collab. So they were asking us because we've got our show exclusive here, Dodge Challenger SRT.
Yep.
And
Beautiful car.
yeah, the paint came out really nice. I really
Yeah.
like it. But those guys were saying, hey, we'd love some raw Zamac cars to put our spin on it and our flair on it.
Sure.
And, Kurt and Marcus are great guys to work with, and this is the first time I've been able to collab with them.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're doing to the cars with the clear coat and the scummies on it and things like this,
Yeah.
it's really cool. And then they showed me the technology that goes behind that. I mean, they really have a cool backbone. So you can download, you buy an IXO produced car with the Neverland's, flair put to it.
Yeah.
Sure.
You download the car, and your IXO car is like in the game, and it's in your wallet. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
a way
that's-
for people to
that's
carry their
pretty
collection
cool.
with them in their pocket, right? It's really, really neat.
I think they're catering more so to the younger generation that's getting into it, that they play video games and they want their cars on their computers and stuff like that, and it's not something we can necessarily fully grasp on, but I think it's a cool concept, and I don't really care for them that much, but changed my mind. There's always
Yeah.
I'm open to anything.
Yeah.
If I got a couple of them, and
Well, one thing
Yeah.
that I think they hit the nail on the head on is their packaging, their presentation.
Yeah,
right?
presentation,
I
The
the
mean,
sizzle
it's-
is good.
It's really, really cool. I mean, I was talking with Marcus on how he does it and everything, and I was really impressed. I mean, the technology has come a long way over the last 5-10 years in 3D printing capability. And
Yeah.
if you told me that was created from an actual injection machine, I would have believed you because
Yeah.
it's that nice. So
It does look really
they
good.
do really well, and it's really cool to see one of our castings presented
Yeah.
in that type of packaging.
So
style.
in the case for people who didn't see it, they've got these really cool 3D printed cases that have a very modular approach. You get the larger box case, and then there's a smaller box that comes out, and then there's even like a little angled plinth inside it that comes out to show off the car. So when you're working with Neverland, I'm just really curious. We're going to have Clint from the design team on very shortly here to talk more about this stuff, and I can't wait to talk to him. But when Neverland comes to you and you guys do a collab, do they give you the design and then you manufacture to their specs, or do you give them the raw bodies and they paint them? How does that work?
So for this one, we gave them the raw bodies, and they took care of all the artwork. Moving down the line, we're actually going to have some conversations with them here this week on how we can do more of we produce the stuff for them. So
that's
there's
awesome.
a lot of technology now that exists that allows you to make a plain car and put your own flair on it.
Sure.
So we're having discussions about that too. So there's a lot of different ways that we can do it. If they want us to do the Tampo artwork, we're more than happy to do it. No problem at all. It's just so. But there's a lot of different ways to attack that.
So, Jeff, no doubt that most of the people here that are enjoying the convention are actually listening to this show live on their AirPods. So tell them what does IXO America have in store the rest of the convention, and especially tonight. What are you guys doing, and why would it be cool to stay tuned and check out what happened there?
Yeah, so tonight at 10 o'clock we have our launch party. So we're up there in the ballroom, I suppose, is what you call it. And what's really cool is for folks that aren't LED tunnel that you walk through.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Wow.
and it's really, really cool, right? And actually our friends at Neverland did our graphics, so for our
nice.
party. So, you'll see the IXO America logo, or maybe our car might be driving down there,
Nice.
the exclusive. Since it's 10 o'clock at night, we figured out people have already had dinner, but we're going to have some cookies and brownies. We got, an open bar down there, so folks can come and just chill out.
You said open. You did say open.
Cash bar, but, maybe if you're nice to me, I'll buy you a drink.
Yeah.
I was going to bring my Camelback.
Yeah, I heard you talking how I'm going to get crazy tonight. No, I'm too old. I'm past
Yeah,
that
no,
phase.
it was a big
Those
joke.
of us who are still in the Eastern time zone are.
No, we're doing the 10 o'clock dinner because we've already had our nap.
There you
that's
go.
how that
There you
goes.
go. Yeah.
We're probably going to see Jeff asleep there.
Well, what
I'll
we're
wake you
doing-
up.
We released, I think, our first 4 castings at the main stage, but tonight at the party we're going to announce another 3.
Oh, nice.
And one of them already has artwork attached to it. So
Awesome.
we're super excited about it, and so that's something that you're actually going to have to come and find us, and we'll talk about it.
No hints here, folks. You're going to have to be there to see it.
We've got the 3D renderings on one of the cars, the deco on one of the cars, and then for the other 2 that we're releasing, we've just got photos because the 3D right now is being worked on. But it's 2 additional cars we're going to be moving forward with.
That's awesome.
Incredible.
All right.
I love it.
Yep. Okay. Anything else you want to leave us parting thoughts with before we go talk to Clint?
Just want to give a big thank you to all the show organizers and all the attendees. I mean, like I said earlier, if you asked me if it was going to turn into this, in 2009, I would have said no. But it really is the collector, the consumer that makes this thing run. And what's really cool is, you can tell the people that are, the VIPs by their badges, and they're extremely passionate about it. I mean, those folks paid a lot of money to be here, and you want to make sure that you're catering to them and making sure that you have a welcome environment for them and everything like that. So, definitely very, very cool to have everybody here. If you've never been out here, come out here. Try to make it a trip for 2026 because it's the friendliest group of people you'll meet inside of this community. So just a gigantic thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
Well said. All right.
Thanks to you guys. It's awesome. We've never had this type of platform before, and I hope this isn't the last time that we talk.
Of course not. We're going to keep bothering you for sure.
Don't
Bother
you worry
away,
about
that's
that.
fine,
You messed up by taking my call.
Well, the cool thing is down the road, maybe what we can do when we're developing castings is we come on the show and drop it on your show.
Hey.
And that's the
We
first time
wouldn't
people get to
hate that.
You heard it here, folks.
Hey, mark
You
it
heard
down.
here.
All right.
We wouldn't hate that.
Well, Jeff Nelson from IXO America, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you being here.
Hey, thank you
Thanks,
guys.
Jeff.
And we can't wait to talk to Clint. And we've loved meeting Tim and the rest of your crew. They've got a great booth down here. If you can make it over between now and tomorrow,
Yeah, check
do
them
so.
out.
You check it out. Get copies of the exclusive car. They got some of their semi trucks, which I'll be talking with Clint about a bit here coming up. But it's really cool stuff. So thank you, Jeff.
We'll
Thank
see
you,
you
IXO
tonight.
America.
See you tonight.
All right.
See you tonight, Jeff.
All right,
So
who
what
we
you're
got
not
coming up,
seeing
Chuck?
right now is an amazing bit of engineering on the part of this stage. We are in an octagon in the middle of a bar that has
We've already gotten the fighting out of
an
the way.
incredibly high-tech
We won.
elevation
That's why we're
device
here.
known as a ladder.
Yeah.
That-
You
Yeah.
got a ladder. We had a cage match at the beginning of the convention.
yeah.
Guys, Diecast Breakdown won, so we are here on stage.
Couple
and
bruises.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
losers
nothing big.
are on the main stage.
Yeah.
Yep. And stepping into the octagon now to face his own barrage of questions. Got Clint from IXO America.
Hey,
Clint,
Clint.
thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for
Hey,
having
Clint,
me, fellas.
have you ever been introduced as stepping into the octagon now?
No,
And if you have, I want to hear that story.
I haven't,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
Okay, there's a first time for everything, you know.
there is a first time for everything,
Okay.
and I'm not opposed to it.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're here for
anything for money, right?
it. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Hey-o.
Fortune and glory. That's what we're all about here
Right,
at
absolutely,
Diecast
absolutely.
SuperCon.
Obviously.
So Clint, you've been on the show before, and for those who haven't seen, go back and check out our interview with Clint and Jeff. It's really cool. But for those who haven't seen it, let's get a quick recap of how you got into design and how that led to designing cars.
Okay. So, like, I'm a car guy. I was raised by a car guy. I've got car in my blood. My whole upbringing was car shows. I can't get away from it. I married into a car family. It's just everywhere I go. But my passion was like design, like graphic design specifically, and just sort of like happened into a job where I was working with basically cars and design. So it's like combining like two passions. So it's just been like almost blessed. Like not too many people can like
Sure.
combine. You get maybe one thing that you enjoy, but like two, I don't know. I do really feel blessed. But that's really how I got into it. Just like it's just always been everywhere. I couldn't have not gotten into it, I think.
True.
Yeah. Clint, I got a question for you. Just walking around the convention and looking at different. Have you had a chance to go look at like cars yet? Like just a bunch of diecasts and stuff like that.
I haven't had time to like just kind of like go and like have a look at things. I've walked past and like looked as I've gone, but I haven't gotten to look deep into it.
My question for you is like when you see other diecast out there, like do you like pick and pull like different things off of them? Like I could do that better, or I could change that, or we could do something similar to that. Is there that much of that happens, or is it mostly just with like one-to-one cars, like more of you go to a car show and you see the actual car? Because I know that you're very OEM oriented. We talked about you getting paint chips for the colors on some of these cars.
I'm a purist at heart. I like things to be factory original. But a good custom is a good custom, and I'm not going to turn that down. But like as far as like walking around and hearing and seeing things, there's amazing designers that have been doing amazing work, and I've never really looked at one and said I could do that better. But I can also draw inspiration from some of that too. But no, nothing better. But like, as far as like cars out in the world are concerned, sometimes I see some that are like cringy. Like, whoever did that shouldn't have done that to it. So real cars, I can see things that I can do better. But,
Well, I think we can all agree on that. It's not everything's your cup of tea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so Clint, we want to clarify your role in when IXO America lays out their vision for what they want. Tell us what you've been tasked to do, and I want to hear about maybe the autonomy they give you, the decisions that you can make on the castings, and how cool is it? It's not a burden, but man, what an honor to put the name out there. You're going to benchmark what this brand is going to become.
I actually feel honored to be able to do that. They've pretty much given me carte blanche as for the castings, because like if you don't know me, I've been doing this for 12 years. Specifically, I've been doing tooling and mold development. So I know what's been done. I know what hasn't been done. I know I've learned how to do things better, be more efficient. Which models to pick. So they trust me. They know what I'm doing. So they basically just say, hey, what should we do? And I'll just give a list of things, and it's like, okay, we'll just go with it. And I don't get any pushback. So I
that's a nice thing to
cool.
have. Because we've interviewed other companies and designers, and they get a lot of pushback.
Oh yeah.
On things they want to do.
Right, and like my focus with this company specifically is the collector. I want to make sure that we're getting things that people want. I'm also I'm thinking about the customizers too, because that's super cool when people take things and kit bash and do all just add paint on them. I love that. So I want to make sure that I'm building a platform that's good for that. I don't know. I mean, just making sure that everything can be kind of like each one of ours can be, moved around, changed
Yeah,
wheels.
tweaked. I
whatever.
mean, you have
Yeah.
Hayden right across from you guys.
Exactly.
That's doing some crazy things. We just interviewed him last night.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's
yeah.
done stuff with Hot Wheels. Of course, we talked to him. He's got Hot Wheels is all over the place, but he's got cartooned, and it'd be awesome for him to do some stuff with your guys'
Yeah,
stuff too.
Yeah, it would be, and that's what I'm wanting to do. I want to make sure that we're here for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it too. I'm here for me, but I got you in mind. Don't worry.
Yeah, I would imagine that'd be pretty cool for you to design something, make it fairly stock, and then find out that somebody's making some stuff where you could either lift it up or slam it down and put different wheels on it, and that may open up a whole different door for you guys later on down the road.
Yeah,
and it's cool to see some of the I won't call them the little guys, but just the people that started customizing stuff that are actually moving along how these big companies are producing things.
right. Yeah.
Well, and it's been cool too seeing some of the other brands out there that have even provided aftermarket
Wheels
kits
and
and
stuff.
wheels and stuff that you can buy in your local hobby shop or whatever to add to the custom things. But something that I'm really curious about, Clint, is so we see these design unveilings, the cars and trucks that you guys are working on. They're fantastic. They're really and we see these really interesting renderings, and they're multiple colors, and they're very strange to a non-designer eye. It's a very interesting sketch. So I'm curious, when you're showing those off, what kind of rendering is that like? And when you get started with a design, do you start from complete scratch when it comes to making a design? And I know that you can't just take a scan of a full-size truck or whatever and shrink it down to 1/64 scale. There's compromises that have to happen because of the manufacturing and all that. And how do you navigate those compromises to make something as incredibly accurate as y'all are turning out?
That's kind of hard to answer, I think. But
Sorry, that was 15
That's
questions in
15
one.
questions in one.
right.
Go ahead, Clint.
Right.
Take your time.
Yeah. So, as far as the manufacturing is concerned, there are tolerances and certain things will be out of scale. You put side mirrors on a truck, tow mirrors kind of stuff. They're
Sure.
going to be a little bit bigger than they should be, just because there's a certain size, or it has to be a certain way, or it's going to get all warped and deformed. So things like that, you kind of have to just pretend.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I try to. I imagine hitting it with a shrink ray. Take a car, shrink ray, boom, and that's what you got. So.
But you guys don't, just to clarify, you guys don't have a shrink ray.
I'm really not at liberty to discuss.
Uh-oh.
That.
I'm sorry I asked.
It's a legal department.
Yeah.
No, but,
You just got us on the list. Well done.
We used to have a fourth person on the show, and now he's this big.
I love that. Sorry.
Okay, so was that one of the questions?
That was one of the questions.
That was 1A. You still have B
I am
through
curious
F.
though. So, for example, you guys are doing dart sports, which I think is very cool.
Yeah.
And I can't think of the last time anybody's done a dart sport.
Right.
So when you say I'm going to do a dart sport, is there a resource file that Mopar provides you, or are you starting from a blank rendering canvas? Where does it go?
We start from scratch. Just
Okay.
Photos, dimensions, that sort of stuff. So that's what we use. And then get the a 3D rendering made of it, and then manipulate the 3D to make it more accurate and look right.
Sure.
So that's how we do it. Mostly through photos. Sometimes, if it's an older car, there isn't any CAD, but if it's
Sure,
a newer
where it
one,
didn't
then we can
exist.
we can contact
Yeah.
the manufacturer,
So
and they'll give us CAD, so we can go with that, which is way easier, But,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an incredible amount of work
Oh yeah.
that goes into it. I don't know if people truly realize with some of these cars
Right.
that are really detail oriented that they have to be made from scratch, a photo,
and
a picture,
and all the research that goes into it too. Because again, I'm a car guy, but I don't know everything about every car.
dimensions and stuff
So
like that.
when we make a new car, I have to become an expert on it, and that's what I do, and that does take time because I want to be sure that I'm 100% accurate.
Uh-huh.
So that takes a lot of time, a lot of deep diving, a lot of finding archives, and getting in paint chips. I want to be able to match the factory.
You're not eating those paint chips, are you, Clint?
Again, I'm really not at liberty to discuss.
Okay,
but
we'll leave that up to the viewers to decide.
Yeah, decide later. Clint, I got an easy one for you.
Okay.
IXO America. We talk about giving collectors some classic American vehicles. Is the entire company gonna be American cars, or are we going to ever see any imports?
So my expertise and my passion is American cars. Not saying there's anything wrong with anything else. It's just where my passion lies. I'm not going to say that we aren't ever going to do any, because that's just silly. But the focus now is that like classic and modern, different things. But so like IXO, IXO model cars, IXO models, they've been in business for several years, releasing stuff in Europe. So they've got a lot of, like Mercedes and BMWs and Porsches and things like that. Really awesome cars, So that side is kind of covered,
Okay.
So I think that, I want to focus on this. It's IXO America, so keep it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But again, not limited to, I'm not closing any doors here, but
we've got plenty
focus.
of American cars we haven't seen yet.
Right.
I need
Yeah,
some
there
cool
are a few.
Aerovets. How about that?
What?
Some
You know what Aerovet is?
Aerovet.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Aerovet.
yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
Like
yeah.
there's some wild Corvettes that other companies have done for limited runs, but I think they would be
What-
really
what is-
like the Mako Shark.
Yeah, what is an Aerovet, Chuck?
It was a concept car, wasn't it?
Is it a
Yeah.
concept car?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
all
the
they're
Mako was a really
mainly
cool
all concept cars.
car. I
Yeah,
got to
Mako's
see that
really
one
cool.
in person in Detroit. It's a really cool concept car.
Yeah.
But yeah, and for those who don't know, IXO America, right now everybody's talking about the Dodge Challenger, but you also do big rigs too.
Yeah, that's something that we're getting into. That's a new thing. So far, that development hasn't been done by me.
Yeah.
But it may. We haven't really discussed that. But yeah, we have some really, really cool, highly detailed, intricate models, and we got some over here. So if you want to check them out, there's some over here.
Yeah.
But they look really good, really, really.
They
cool.
are really good looking, and I'm not a big rig collector, but I picked up. There's a certain weathered vintage truck that looks like a particular movie that we can't name for certain
Legal
reasons,
purposes.
But, yeah,
Again,
and they're-
vintage.
yeah, but it's really cool, and I was thrilled to pick that one up. They've also got one that looks like the kind of thing you would cruise around in the 70s with a monkey in. I don't know,
It rhymes with
Yeah.
PK and the hair.
the hair, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But and beyond that too, like they've got some really cool. You talk about obscure stuff like you're doing like the bullnose big rig. I think that's like a Kenworth or something like that. The bullnose, which is a really cool looking vintage big rig truck. We saw the stuff that you are working on. I love that you're doing the bullnose Fords from 80 to 86.
Yep.
That's been a very underserved generation. That those 80s designs. There's another brand that's doing the brick nose now and the Arrow, but nobody's really taken on the bullnose yet, and that's
we're
really
doing
cool.
the short bed, long bed,
And you're doing the short bed,
bed.
and that's interesting too, because we've talked to some of the other brands before that will only do the short bed, or they'll only do the whatever because
of the demand for it, probably. Or
because of the demand or the packaging limitations. But you guys are going, nope, we're going to do short bed, long bed, flare side. So,
Absolutely.
so here's a question I have, because Jeff has brought this phrase up several times now about how robust your designs are. So
You
when
use
he
that
says,
word like
when
at
he
least
says
50
I thought my
robust,
stomach
Right.
is robust.
like it almost
Yeah.
sounds like he's being like more versatile than like, because robust for me sounds like you could throw it against the wall and
Yeah.
it'll break the wall.
Yeah, we
But
tried that and it broke.
what does IXO America
look at
mean
that.
when they say robust design?
Yeah, so it's the word I would use is versatile. The mold will be versatile. So again, like with the bullnose, we'll have the long bed, short bed, step side. We'll have it'll be lifted. It'll standard.
so
standard chassis.
versatile. Is,
Yeah, versatile.
Yeah.
So in like all of the each year there's like a specific wheel or a specific model within, like the XL or the SXT or whatever STX. They have a specific wheel, so I'll have all those covered so that they'll all be available. So you want to make when we want to go to make one, it will be accurate. And
Yeah.
again, this is also something where I'm thinking about the collector, or the customizer who wants to have these parts and make their own things. That's what he means by versatile. Same thing with the Duster, Dart, Demon, and we're doing that too, doing all of them, all the versions that can possibly be done with it, because there are. In the future, I'm hoping to be able to do some drag racing kind of things with that, because like you think about a 1976 dart sport, and like most people are like, what is that? I don't know what that is. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, well, that's the cool thing about Diecast is sometimes they have to check into the real car because they're like, well, what is this thing? It's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, and that was a really good, drag race platform back in
Sure, because they were cheap.
So, yeah, and they were light.
And they were light,
small.
yeah.
So I'm hoping that we can in the future make some sort of deal with some sort of somebody to make some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Can the younger guys expect a squatted stance on your trucks?
Well, I think that's it's outlawed now, right?
Yeah.
Until you get caught.
The good taste police have outlawed those.
But again, you know what? So you can customize anything you want, right?
Yeah.
So,
and something I think that's really cool is you guys are picking a very interesting era to focus on, because a lot of your stuff that we're seeing is mid to late 70s, early 80s, where the brands were restricted by the emission stuff. They were down on power, so they had to differentiate themselves. And this is the stuff I'm really looking forward to from you guys, is because what they would do to make up for that is they had wild design patterns. You had the Dart Sport Hang 10, which is something that I have been begging for somebody to make for a long time, because I think it's one of the coolest design liveries that's ever existed for Mopar, especially. But you've got like the really cool truck editions, like there were like Levi's editions, and there were on the Mopar side, the Feather Duster, the Space Duster, the Gold Duster, Silver Duster. Yeah, there were all these.
All of these dusters,
so I think it's really cool that we're going to actually have something that because you had talked about that being something that's on the table, is doing a lot of those different variants and stuff. So are there any variants or design schemes in particular, any liveries that you're really looking forward to bringing to life?
Stuff like that, because nobody knows what an 80 Malibu is, but they're one of the best drag cars that ever made.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you could stick any size engine you wanted. And
I had a buddy in high school that had one. That with it.
Yeah,
and I think
those cars.
I think what you're doing too is really smart, focusing on that era, because now that the younger Gen Xers and the millennials are kind of coming into this hobby more. These are the cars that we grew up with, the cars that our parents had or that we had as our first vehicles.
Nostalgic thing.
And, I was talking with a gentleman who's been around for a little while, and his whole thing, like his generation, he has like every variant of 57 Chevy you can think of, because that was the car that he idolized when he was younger. And, he's so we've had that hot rod focus for a real long time, the classics focus, the muscle car focus, the stuff that we grew up with, the 70s and 80s cars, really are just now starting to get their due. Even though we get it, they were of their time, they were down on power, they weren't necessarily as iconic or chrome filled as the 50s and 60s cars.
And ugly at the time, but beautiful now.
They have that sentimental attachment that they remind us of the cars that we had available to us, the memories that we had with those vehicles, the stuff that we look back on. And even if it wasn't like the best memory, it's the fact that, hey, we all dealt with those boxy minivans and it's like there's other brands right now that have been making big splashes with things from Caravans and Chevy Astros and stuff. So to have those like Malaise era Mopar A bodies and the working rigs, the square body crew cab, that's the big thing. All you square body lovers out there, you're gonna love this crew cab that they're coming out with, because it. There's another crew cab out there, and it's good. It's really good. I like it.
But is it great?
But like this has that IXO touch to it, and to have the variations on the body too, and the bed looks realistic. The bed has a realistic depth to it. It looks really good, and to have it be that versatile and to have the different options to it. So these are, I think, all the versions I saw are the round eye square bodies, right? Like you're doing the round headlights first.
Yeah. Well, yeah, at first, but we have the opportunity.
Yeah.
the ability
Well, I
to
mean,
do
it's
all
a
of it,
very
yeah.
easy update. It's a grill swap,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
from like
Exactly.
73 to 1988. They're more or less, or 87. I think 88 was the first year of the newer old body style.
Clint's so detailed, he's just going to throw out the whole car and redesign it just to put different headlights in it.
Brand new full casting each year, 74, 75.
Yes,
Send
yes,
me
absolutely.
the paint chips.
Yeah, start from scratch each time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and again, really smart decisions on like things like the Mopar A bodies, because the Dart Sport and the I almost said Valiant, the Duster. I still say Valiants would sell. They would. I'm one of the moderators on the Plymouth Valiant Facebook group. We got like 5,000 members.
Of course you are. You're the
course I
president.
am.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
president and you're also a member.
I'm not
Not
just
only
a
is he a
president, I'm a client. Yes.
As a client. too.
So, but yeah, I think those will eventually get there. I mean, the Dart Sport alone is very cool because that is a relatively obscure version of everybody knows the Demon, everybody knows the early Dusters. They don't know the late Dusters, and I really like that you paid attention to things like the 75 to 76 Dusters having that different grille. You had the weird,
like a point. Yeah.
and the beak on the 73 and up
Yep.
darts and Dart Sports. Very cool things. So excited to see where those go. Again, a bunch of amazing liveries that I can't wait to see from you guys.
All right. Yeah.
If you had to be asked, what is your design signature? Because we were talking to somebody about like the Jada style, or there are some people that have a more stylized style or a more whatever style. What would you say is the Clint style that you bring to these designs?
I would say accuracy would be what it is, because again, like I'm a purist. I dive real deep into getting all the info, into getting the cars exactly right, all the specs perfect. Get all the correct wheels for all the correct different versions that were available. So like I would say my signature is accuracy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would agree.
Colors too. I want to have I got paint chips and I match them, and
We can expect tread on the tires.
Yes, you can, but not accurate, because again,
No.
the tolerances and
No,
stuff.
Sure.
That's as expected. You guys are
Right.
doing everything world class.
I like to see maybe a nail in one or something like that. I'd be like, whoa, this one's got a
plug.
This one's got a flat.
Oh,
This
that's
one's got
kind
a
of cool.
nail.
Yeah, we'll make some flat tires.
Yeah, you're like, wow, this one's flat. This is an error.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was
see
going to
if
say,
anybody
like,
catches that.
I mean, one thing that I do specifically collect are I do weathered customs. I like to do barn
Oh,
finds
yeah,
and
that's
stuff
cool.
like that.
That's
So I
super
do
cool.
like and I do like buying ones that do have a weathered affect to them. Is that something that y'all are exploring at all?
Yeah, I'm open to that. Previous companies I've been with have done that, and I've had fun making the patina kind of stuff for them.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind, like maybe one. So I had a '63 Plymouth in high school.
Yep.
And it was a dull blue, except one fender was a bright shiny one. So
Yeah.
I could, so I could-
99% dull,
Right. Yeah.
1% shiny.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would not be opposed to that. As long as the manufacturers are cool with it, because sometimes they don't want their
It
Yeah,
could
they
be a
want
kind of a
looking
challenging
rusty.
thing for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, there's now we've talked too about IXO being very open to the input of the customizers. Are there things about the IXO design that lend themselves well to customization, or like have you made it so that it's easier to take apart, or is there anything specific that's been done with the customizer in mind?
Yeah, not necessarily as taking it apart, I suppose, but just the fact that so many parts will be available that you would be able to,
Sure.
Like if we were to maybe do like wheel and tire, packs,
Sure.
like we'll include axles, things like that, so they can be easily, if you break it, you can, if you bend it, you have extras. But yeah, that sort of thing, sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
There you go. So you're using like a traditional rivet style attachment to the chassis.
Yeah, we are. Mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
good
Yep.
to know. And those are very easily overcome. We know how to deal with rivets.
Yeah,
So,
just yank real hard.
Yeah.
Drill them out. Drill your hand.
Yeah. Got a nice little.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You gotta watch where you point that thing. So, all right, Clint. Well, cool. Well, as we're wrapping things up, is there anything else that you want to leave people with that you want them to think of when they think of IXO America?
Specifically, I would just want you to think that like keep an eye on us. We're new. We're putting out some new stuff. Keep an eye on us. See what we got coming out. If you have ideas, again, we are very open to ideas. If you're here and you come over to our booth, we have a little request paper. You can just like write something down if you want to
Request
see it.
form with some
So-
I'm
questionnaires.
definitely going over there and writing 64 Plymouth Valiant in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sending us a little message right now, David?
Quit trying to suggest your favorite car.
How
to
dare you,
Clint.
sir? How dare you manipulate this platform for your own gain?
Right.
Nobody saw that.
Saturn
right.
doesn't even exist anymore, David.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
Neither does Plymouth, sadly, but
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Us,
that
Pl-
Or
us Plymouth
Datsun.
boys over
Or
here.
Datsun.
We gotta,
Yeah.
it still does. Somebody still owns it. The name.
yeah. All right.
Nissan.
Okay. Well, thank you, Clint, again for coming on. Really
Thank
appreciate you
you.
being here. We
Appreciate
love
it.
talking with you. We'll have to have you on
Thank you.
again soon. Have a great rest of the show.
We will
Thank
see
you.
you
And
tonight,
we'll
sir.
catch up with you tonight
Yep.
at the party,
At the
10
party,
p.m.
Yes.
10 p.m. Pacific time. That's 1 a.m. my time, but that's cool.
Very late.
I'm gonna
Very
have,
late.
and Clint and I, us East Coast boys, we're gonna rally. We're gonna rally hard for that.
Absolutely.
All right.
Be careful
Thank
on the
you.
way
Thank you,
down,
fellas.
Clint.
Oh, yeah. On my
Thanks.
call.
All right. Have a great rest of the
Hot
show.
mic.
Don't fall off the
Yeah, careful
don't
climbing
fall off
down there.
our regal staircase there.
Careful there.
Well, that was fun, Chuck.
That was fun.
Can hear this. I'm going to give you a chase vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't know what brand. If anybody can hear this, I feel like I'm in a movie and I'm on Mars.
Yeah.
If anybody can hear this, come up to the stage. Diecast Breakdown will give you a free chase vehicle. So we're just
David
throw
will
that
give
out
you a
there.
free chase vehicle. I'm not giving you anything.
Yeah, I'm not giving you anything either.
David will give you a chase vehicle.
David in the green shirt.
But yeah, awesome. Well, that was a great first live, and we're going to be wrapping things up here real shortly. We're going to be back in 2 p.m. local
2 p.m.
time. To be
Pacific.
2 p.m.
Pacifically
Pacific,
speaking.
5 p.m. Eastern to talk more. Again, thank you for joining us for a live edition of Diecast Breakdown. We're going to
Thanks,
be wrapping
IXO,
things
for
up
coming
here in
on.
about 30 seconds, Rory. So, thank you for watching, listening, wherever you are, subscribing. If you're here at the show, seeing us, leave a comment being like, I'm here at the show, because we'd love to hear from you. And go find him and get a free chase piece and say that you've been listening. But
got a green
I don't know,
shirt
We're
on.
going to have
You
some
can't
other
mess
cool
it up.
giveaways
Nobody's
later on during the
taken me
day
up on it yet.
and the rest of the show. So make sure you're listening to that. Again, shout out to the patrons that make our show go. If you want to join the ranks, you can visit diecastbreakdown.com, where you can also find links to drivendreams.org, our really cool charity that Mark is doing. It's a really cool project. A lot of really positive buzz coming about that. One car will equal one smile to children around the world, and we are going to bring 25,000 smiles this year. That's the goal. So help us reach that visiting drivendreams.org. And as always, we want to thank you for coming along with us for the ride. So until next time, stay fresh, cheese bags.